Insperity presents the Small Business Advocate Show with Jim Blasingame, brought to you by FedEx, CareerBuilder.com, and Palo Alto Software. This is a copyrighted production of Small Business Network, Inc., all rights reserved.
Now back to ringside with the voice of small business and the champion of the entrepreneur.
Say it now, gentlemen. Undisputed heavyweight champion of the world.
The small business advocate, Jim Blasingame.
Welcome back. It's 34 after the hour. Thank you very much for staying with me. Thanks for being part of my day. Always a pleasure to continue to be with you, especially when I get a chance to reintroduce you to a great member of our brain trust, Zoltan Acs. Zoltan is the founder and the president of Global Entrepreneurship and Development Institute. He is the founder of the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor and other resource entities that are and research entities, I should say, I guess, that are studying entrepreneurship around the globe and launching from the platform of America, which is the watershed entrepreneurial standard. And he's also a professor at George Mason University and a longtime friend. Zoltan, welcome back.
Jim, thank you very much. Great to be back on the program.
Good to have you back as always. And the Jedi too, right? Global Entrepreneurship and what's the rest of that? And Development Institute. Yeah.
Yes.
Zoltan, one of the things that I've said on the show many times is that entrepreneurship is multifaceted, and it requires liberty. It doesn't require democracy, but it requires liberty. And it brings out the best in human beings. And when it's allowed to flourish, society benefits through Smith's invisible hand. Society benefits from entrepreneurship flourishing, doesn't it?
That's absolutely true.
So one of the things you've been focusing on a lot lately is this facet of entrepreneurship that a lot of people might be surprised to hear you say this, but that philanthropy is a facet of entrepreneurship. Talk to us about that.
Yeah. Well, I was at a party in Putnam Valley in upstate New York years ago, and talking to an old friend of mine who was an investment banker. And he knew what I was doing, studying entrepreneurship and American capitalism and innovation and small business. And he said to me, he says, Zoltan, you should also focus on philanthropy. I said, why is that? He says, if you go walk across Yale University's campus, he says, every building was donated by some rich guy.
Uh-huh.
He says, how do you explain that? I thought to myself, I said, well, I don't know. And so I said, that sounds interesting. I ate a steak, had a couple beers, and this was before the internet days, so I couldn't go look on the net. So I said, well, I'll go to the library, I'll take out 5 books, read up on it, and I'll see if it makes any sense. I went to the library, looked for books on entrepreneurship and philanthropy. Guess what I found? No books.
Nothing.
I said, how can that be? No books. So I looked at journals, right? I'm a professor, that's what I do. I couldn't find any journal articles. So I said, well, I'll be damned. So I said, okay, I have a big library of American history. So I said, I'll pull out Woodrow Wilson's History of the American People. Mm-hmm. And I bet it's in there.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
Well, I pulled it out. Nothing. Either on entrepreneurship or philanthropy.
Wow.
I said, damn. So then I said, okay, I'll pull out Empire for Liberty. Pull that out, nothing. I said, well, this can't be. Well, then I went to look at philanthropy just by itself, and sure enough, I found a bunch of stuff, right? There's stuff written about rich guys like Andrew Carnegie,
right,
about their foundations, like the Rockefeller Foundation. There's lots of books on charity written. And then I already knew the literature on small business, innovation, all that. So I said, well, why aren't these two sort of put together? And, I had read all the books on American capitalism, and they don't talk about either one of them either.
Right.
So I said, either this is a stupid subject and it ain't interesting, or there's something to this. So I was working at the SBA at that time, and my old boss, Jerry Glover, said to me in 1996,
I know Jerry. I saw him
right?
I saw him a month ago.
He said, Zoltan, invent an entrepreneurship policy for the United States. Come back next week. I went away, and I said, I knew what small business policy was, helping guys like you.
Yeah.
And I thought about it. I came back a week later, and I said, Jerry, I can't invent an entrepreneurship policy. He gets mad at me. He says, why not? I had a Tennessee drawl.
Yeah.
And I said, Jerry, I can't come up with a policy that will make rich white men richer and have Congress pass it. And he looked at me, and he understood. He goes, yeah. He said, why don't you do it for women? I said, that's a great idea.
Hold on to that thought, Zoltan. We're going to come back and talk some more about the connection between philanthropy and entrepreneurship. Stay with us. 20 till.
Insperity presents the Small Business Advocate Show with Jim Blasingame, brought to you by FedEx, CareerBuilder.com, and Palo Alto Software. This is a copyrighted production of Small Business Network, Inc., intended for the private use of our audience. Except as otherwise provided by copyright law, all other copying, redistribution, or publication without prior written consent is prohibited. All rights reserved.